Hello friends, okay, today we can start another class. It's about research aptitude. It's a class 5 and it's very important class today because we are going to deal with the steps of research. There are 8 steps of research, steps are there in the research, and in this video we are going to deal only 4 steps of research, okay. Other 4 steps we can discuss in the next video. I think you are ready for the class and we can move on with the class. It's better. So we can discuss all the steps first. After that, one by one, we can discuss them in detail.
The steps of research. Okay, there are 8 steps in the research. First one is formulating research problem, that you are finding an area that you decided to do the research. That is what we call formulating the research problem. Understood? Second is review of literature. After you find the area you decided to do a research, you have to find the books related to it. Okay, that is what we call the review of literature. And you also want a bibliography after this work is over, so you have to make all these things. So that is the second step. Then third is developing of objectives and hypothesis. You know objectives. What is objectives? You have some certain ideas or aims behind it for doing a research that you have to be developed. Then hypothesis means this is the future prediction. After doing a research, you have an idea what will be its product. That is what you are making it in the hypothesis. Understood? And the fourth step is preparing the research design. What is meant by preparing the research design? It is the blueprint. How to do a research? The blueprint is we can see in the design. Understood? Next is the data collection. Data collection. After you make a blueprint how to do the research, you started collecting the materials or collecting the samples related to your research. Okay, that is what you are doing in the data collection. Understand? And the sixth one is the data analysis. After collecting the samples, you are categorize them and you analyze them, and you want to make a result out of it, and you want to make a generalization that you are doing in the seventh step. Okay. In the seventh step, you do a generalization, and that is you do the interpretation of what it is, and all these things you are doing in the seventh step. And eighth step is the reporting. You are reporting whatever materials you have already done throughout the research. All these things you are writing in your thesis paper. That's it. That is the eighth step of the research. Understood? These are the 8 steps for your research. You must study all these steps because that is very needed for your research work. Understood? And for the NET exam, they will ask the steps. Yeah, sometimes they will shuffle it and give, so you have to make it in rearrange and order them. So you must know the 8 steps of the research paper.
First step. Okay, first we are going to discuss the first step, that is formulating research problem. Formulating research problem means first the area of interest you have to find. Whatever subject you are going to do the research, first you want to find an interested area for that research. Then you want to find whether there is any sub areas are there. Sometimes some topics have some sub areas, so you want to find whether there is some subtopics behind it. Then research questions, you want to prepare some kind of questions related to this research. Then access the objectives. Objectives means you are doing an or research, you should have some kind of objectives behind it. Why you are doing it, why you are not doing it, and what is the reason behind it. Okay, so you have an idea or an objectives behind it. So you want to first you have to formulate all these things. Understood? That is the area you have to find, sub areas you have to find. You want to make the questions, then you have to make objectives. What all the objectives is available you have to find. Then factors. What are the factors you have to consider for formatting a research problem? To find a research problem, you want to find whether what are the factors needed for that. First one is interest. That is, interest means the area that you like to take. That is what we call as interest. Okay, your interested area you want to take. Then magnitude of the topic. Magnitude of the topic means how much large it is. Whether if it is a too much large vast area, you have to go through a lot of reading. If it is a small area, it is very difficult to get the topics related to it. So you have to find the magnitude, how much strength the area is, what the strength of that topic is. Okay, then concept measurement. Concept measurement means the concept, the idea you have taken, whether it is useful to this area, or whether it is future, whatever it is. So is it good or bad? You have to find the measurement, how much it is relevant to our present situation. The level of expertise, you want to find how many people. So otherwise you want to find a guide who is able to guide you through this research, and you want to find how many people have already gone through this type of researches, and what is their conclusion about it, what is their result about it. Okay, then relevance. Relevance I have already mentioned you. Relevance means if you do a research, how much it is important in the present scenario. Understood? Then availability of data. You want also know that whether these data are available. If you are doing a research about some mentally disabled, or what we called that mentally challenged students, whether we are able to get such kind of students, if we are able to collect data from them, is it possible? How much it is relevance and availability of data, is it possible or not, we have to find it. Then ethical issues. Ethical issues means when you are doing any research, it should not be copied from anyone, or it should not hurt anyone. It should be very ethical, and it is true and authentic, that we have to consider. So all these factors we have to consider when we are formulating a research problem. Research problem here means you are finding out the research area which you are going to do. That is what we call the research problem. Understood? Next, second step is the review of literature. So after you take an area for research, you want to find the books related to it. That is books, journals, articles, all this you have to collect. That is books, journals for reading. Bibliography, you have to make a bibliography at the end of your work. So what you have to do is that what all the books you are going to take references, you have to keep that write down in your book. Understood? Then only you are able to include all that books in your bibliography. Next is developing of objectives. Okay, so the third area is the developing of objectives. Main objectives and sub objectives are there. Understood? So you have to keep that in mind. The developing of objectives and hypothesis is very important. So developing of objectives is one of the main area we have to keep in mind. What are the objectives we have to do this research? If the any sub objectives is there, that also we have to mention. And in the third step itself, one more thing is coming, that is the developing of hypothesis. What is meant by hypothesis? It is the idea which is suggested as possible explanation for a particular situation. For a particular situation, you are saying that this might be the reason for that, and you are making a research on it. Understood? Understood. For example, if the accidents are taking okay, accident, you go through the you are doing a research on the two wheelers. Okay, two wheelers, how many of them have kept the how many of them are using the helmet, how many of them are not using the helmet when accident has happened, then what is the possibility of the death rate, and you are doing a research on it. Then your suggestion is that if you are wearing the helmet, it is safe. That is your hypothesis. Okay, after doing the research only we can find whether it is true or not. So you are suggesting an idea. This might be the reason. Okay, an idea which is suggested as possible explanation for a particular situation. This is what we call hypothesis. Considered variable means there are certain variables connected to it. For example, independent variable, no connection with others. Independent variable means different factors are related to this hypothesis. Independent variables have no connection with others. There is no connection. It is independent. Okay. Dependent, it is connection with others, and extraneous variable means the variable which can influence the both. Independent or dependent is called extraneous variable. Understood? That is called extraneous variable. So I think the third step is understood by you. Third step is the making of objectives as well as hypothesis. Hypothesis is the explanation for a particular situation is a prediction. Okay, by keeping that prediction you are doing the research. Understood? It's a prediction for the research. Then types of hypothesis. There are different types of hypothesis there. So these questions I have asked in the NET exam. Null hypothesis. Okay. So we can see what are the types of hypothesis. Descriptive hypothesis. Describe the characteristics. It shows what is the behavior of the research. Descriptive hypothesis show the behavior of it. Then relational hypothesis. Relation means connection. Relation of two variables. That is, if you are taking two factors, if you are taking male and female, that are the two variables. Understood? Understood. That is the what we call as variables. For example, if you are taking the male and female, who is best in their studies, we are taking a research on it. So the two variables here means one is the male and another is the female. So what is the relation? That is called relational hypothesis. What is the relation between this male variable and female variable? Is there any relation in their studies, in their learnings? That is what we are trying to find out. Then explanatory, cause and effect, reason for that. Okay, if you are finding out the ladies sometimes excel the boys in the studies, sometimes we can see that male excels in their studies. So might be there is some reasons, cause and effect is that is what we are explaining in the explanatory hypothesis. Okay, null hypothesis, no relation or equal between a variable. No relation means male and female, there is no relation in this case. Okay, those who are learning, they are learning whether it is male or female. So no relation existing, what we call it as null hypothesis. Okay, alternative hypothesis is sample influenced by non-random cause. That is, it is influenced by random means here and there we are taking, and we don't know whether it is whether the variables are included or not. We are not getting a clear-cut idea. That is called alternative hypothesis. We are taking, for example, we are taking 1 and we are not taking 2. We are taking the 3. After that, we are taking the 5. Then you are taking the 7. Like that, you are taking alternatively. Okay. It can be given result well, might be or might not be. So what we call it as alternative hypothesis. That is different types of hypothesis testing is there. Example is T-square test, T-test and F-test. All these tests is for the hypothesis testing only. You just want to know the names of the testers, because sometimes they will ask whether it is for hypothesis or for design or like that they will ask us. So you must know that it is for hypothesis, that is square test, T-test and F-test are the examples of different types of hypothesis. So hypothesis mainly we are studying here only 5. Okay, the null hypothesis usually they will ask in the NET exams. Then next is preparing research design. Next area, fourth step is the we are making a design of it. Design, what is meant by design? Design is the it is the blueprint. Okay, what we call the design, it can be considered as the blueprint of the research. Okay, blueprint of the research is the design. So you are formulating something here, designing, that is consider the objectives. You have to consider the method, how we have to collect the data, the sources of collection, whether it has to be collected by directly from some officers or indirectly from the people. You have to find the sources. Tools, what are the tools? Interviews, rating scale, like that, which kind of tools you have to use. Methods of data analysis, which method we have to take, whether we have to take a quantitative method, qualitative method, what type of method we have to take. So all these things are preparing in the research design area. This is the area we are making a blueprint of the what of the research. Understood? This is the fourth step of our research. Then types of designs are, it is of different types. Exploratory, it is seeing the all the different aspects are seeing. Exploratory means we are seeing the different areas. Okay, if one student is not studying, we are finding out why. It can be social reason, it can be family reason, it can be environmental reason, it can be physical reason. So you are taking the different aspects. Okay, descriptive means situation describe, they are describing the area. Diagnostic is problem discover, they're finding out the reason behind it, problem behind it. Experimental means they are doing the test and trial, it is purely scientific. So these are the different types of design. Okay, there are 4 steps today we have discussed. First one is the formulation of the research. for formulation of the research problem. Second, we talked about the review of the literature, and third, we have discussed about the making of the objectives as well as hypothesis, and fourth is the making of the design. Okay, formulation of the design. These are the 4 steps we have to consider. After that, there are 4 more steps that we can discuss in the next video, because I don't want to make it a long video, then it get confused for you. There are 8 steps are there. We are now discussing only the first 4 steps. Now I think you are clear about the first 4 steps, and we can discuss other 4 steps in the next class. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe this video. We can meet in the next class and we can study the whole steps together. You must write it down, or you must see the videos and study all the steps. Understood? Then only you are able to. Sometimes they will they ask to rearrange the steps, so you must know which step come after which. Understood? So you have to study all the steps well. Don't forget to subscribe the video, then only you are able to get my other videos also. We can meet on next class. Okay, goodbye.